Thank you, Bob. That could have gone on, I know, so much longer, and I hope that you take the opportunity while Valerie and Barry and everyone else that's here, Brian, to make sure that you have an opportunity to connect with them one-on-one, to be able to have deeper conversations about the things that are important. And Valerie and her husband, Mark, are going to get up and talk a little bit in just a few minutes, a further discussion about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I'm not going to take much time to talk about that at all right now. I do want the opportunity to just say how proud I am of every single one of you for the presentations that you've made over the past 2 days. Nick and I, every time we drive home from our district conference, in particular, others as well, we always say that we recharge our Rotary batteries. And I know that I've been sitting in my chair listening to each and every one of you talk about the things that you're doing in your community, in our world. And man, it does. Don't you feel your batteries recharged? Yes. Now, I think that there might be someone in the house by the name of Anna Kelly. Is Anna Kelly in here? All right, Anna, you want to come up to the front? Kevin, maybe walk her up here. Anna, why don't you come on up the stairs? Nope, over, nope. You're going to just stand right here at the front of the house, right in front of me, right here, because it is Anna's birthday. And I can think of no other better way. And I would ask Mark Wafer to come up and stand next to her as well, because I think we need to sing. And so when it gets to the part about names, we're going to say Anna and Mark. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Anna and Mark. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Mark. I hope you have a wonderful celebratory day, and everybody make sure you give them some fist bumps and high fives later on during the day. I said that I wanted to be able to explain the Imagine Rotary logo, and I know that we don't have anything here, and I'm not going to toy with trying to get it queued up, but visually, I think that many of you have already seen what it looks like. There's a circle surrounded by dots and a green line underneath it. So our convention is going to be in Melbourne, Australia next year, and Nick and I had the wonderful opportunity about 2 weeks ago to be able to go there for our first site visit, to actually get on a plane and travel there to see this city where we're going to meet. And I'll talk about it and show you a video in just a few moments of where we're going to go and all that you can expect to see and do. But I wanted to make sure that the presidential theme, there, thank you, on camera. I wanted to make sure that the presidential theme and the convention theme had a familial relationship to them. And so what we did was we engaged and hired an Indigenous Aboriginal Australian artist to come up with the design for each of these. And so when we were working on this, we went through several iterations and wonderful dialogue all about the intent and the meaning behind every single element. And so when you look at the round circle in the middle, what he explained to me was that when the elders would sit in circle with each other in conversation as they were solving problems and talking about different things in their community, they would sit cross-legged, and when you get up, there would be a circular marking on the ground underneath. And what this represented was the power of connection. And by closing in that circle, it meant the power of ultimate connection. Surrounding it with the 7 dots, they could be people. There's 7 areas of focus, and that's why we chose 7. But when you put the circle and the dots together, what he explained to me was, it becomes a navigation star, a way for us to look into the future, to where we're going, and to dream those wildest dreams I just spoke about. The green line underneath is probably my favorite part of this. It's called what he called a digging stick. And so what they used this for in Aboriginal history was to dig up the ground when they needed to plant or to build or to do hard work. And so for us as people of action, that green line at the bottom is our metaphorical digging stick. And I love that. I love that it gives us some of that imagery. And I know that there's many different ways that people will interpret it across the world if they don't hear this story. And perhaps it's a sun on the horizon line, but hopefully it's something that gives us hope. And the convention is very close in the design, and the theme for that is imagine what's next, because we always need to be looking toward the future. Now the colors, I will tell you the story behind the colors. For years and decades, we have had a governor theme jacket. You've all seen every year our governors come out in a different kind of jacket, and maybe you recognize that it's a theme or maybe you don't. But I decided that in trying to live authentically diversity, equity, and inclusion, asking our governors to all dress the same kind of felt a little wrong. And so what I wanted them to do was to unite behind some theme colors. And so I selected purple, green, and white. Purple could easily be for polio, green easily for the environment, and white easily for peace. And they can mean that. But they're also the colors of the suffragette movement, the women's movement. And for me, that's a subtle reminder, and maybe a little bit of a silent nod to that history. Because you know, I am not going to spend a lot of time talking about being the first woman unless it's in the capacity of opening doors for others. And so that ability to have those colors woven in was incredibly important to me. And so people can show up as their authentic selves, wearing those colors. And you'll see today that Nick has on a purple suit. Thank you, Noel Jackson, for helping direct him into that territory. I'm not kidding. Actually, there was a crate of, I think, 5 purple suits that showed up in Evanston, Illinois, where we're living right now. And for those of you, well, let me finish that loop. Anyway, of 5 different varying purple suits. The one that Nick is wearing today is very subtle. There are some that were a little bit more Noel-esque that had personality to them, and so Nick does have a bright one that we'll bring out and wear on occasion. But for those of you who don't know, this is a 2-year commitment to actually moving to our headquarters in Evanston, Illinois. And one of the things that I want to say with immense pride in front of all of you, as I wouldn't do in a normal audience because you know him so well, is that Nick has given up 2 years of practicing medicine to come and do this with me. I love you. And it is an incredible journey that we're going to take, and Barry and Esther have done this exact same journey, and the ability for us to be able to reach out and connect with so many people in different parts of our world, both in person and virtually, because one of the things that I'm not going to give up is connecting with people through virtual platforms that we have. We need to be together because we're social people. We need to get this juice off of each other that we have in this room. But I hope that that resonates with you and how we do our Rotary business just a little bit differently. And I'm going to take you've seen on the outside, we're going to embark on an impact tour across the globe where we're focusing our attention very strategically on being able to raise awareness about our areas of focus. And so Nick and I are going to 8 different locations to showcase our 7 areas of focus. We're making a separate, and it's our first impact tour stop, to Pakistan, to showcase the incredible work that's going on with our polio eradication initiatives there. It's an opportunity for me to sit down with female frontline health immunizers and caregivers to say thank you, to talk with members of government there to ensure that they are putting the gas on as hard as they can to get us across the finish line. As you heard Neil Macbeth talking earlier, we are looking at 2023 being the last transmission of the wild polio virus. Yes. And that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, because it means that we still need that 3-year window to get to the final certification point. And that means that we still need to immunize 400 million children a year to be able to do that. And it's going to cost us billions of dollars still. And even though we talk about 3 cases year to date, we're still going to have some setbacks. We know that. But you know, one of the most amazing things that's happening out of our polio eradication efforts, how it's led us to be able to deal on the front line with COVID. And what that's done to raise our credibility, our public health infrastructure that we've created in more than 70 countries, that credibility that we have, on Thursday of this week, we were featured, top of the list featured, at the Biden Global Second COVID Summit that was held globally with world health leaders. And we had a front row seat where we told about what we do to make sure that our world is taken care of. That's the kind of credibility that we have and that we're building. And so we're going to Pakistan to talk with these frontline female health workers. We're going to go into the South Pacific to showcase an international program that the Australian and New Zealand Rotarians are doing to immunize 100,000 children with rotavirus, HPV, and pneumonia. We're going into Guatemala to feature the Guatemala Literacy Project that many of you have participated in. And we're going to showcase education and basic literacy. We're going into Haiti to look at the incredible work that HandWash is doing to bring potable, clean water and sanitation to every man, woman, and child in that country. And can we do it? Yes, we can. We're going to focus on pollination projects in North America, and we're going to showcase from Canada all the way through the United States to Mexico how we're making a huge difference. We're going into Uganda to feature our Mackinac Peace Center and the incredible work that's going on there. We're going into Zambia to showcase how we are going to eradicate malaria in that country and the power of partnerships. These are going to be trips that we're taking with top-tier A-list media to make sure that we turn up the volume and that we crank out the stories so the world knows what you are doing. And we're going to make sure that the rest of the world hears what we're doing, but when our members, when you read these stories, when you see them played out on national broadcasts, I hope that it creates point of pride, that we are something bigger than ourselves. We are more than a club. We are a movement, and we need to embrace that feeling so that we understand that we can be the best that we can be, that we can imagine everything that we are capable of. And we know we are because we've heard it all played out in front of us over the past less than 48 hours. In the few minutes that I have remaining, I want to be able to give you a personal invitation to attend the convention in Melbourne with Nick and I. And I think he might be back here. Is he coming out to join me? Darling, yes. Now you can see that we're matchy-matchy. So we're going to, yes. So it's a subtle purple.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and he's got purple shoes. Yeah, fancy smancy. We only have a couple of seconds before we show you the final video, but maybe you could give the personal invitation to Melbourne for people to join us there.
Yes, I would absolutely love each and every one in our district, spread the word to come to Melbourne, and that's how you say it. I was taught it's not Melbourne, it's the Australians say Melbourne, so when we're talking about it, but when Jen and I were there, it is a magnificent city. It is right on the Yarra River. All the hotel buildings are within 5-minute walk of the convention center. Melbourne is a walking city. It's a foodie city. It's an incredible town to be in, and just to be there and take some time after the convention to visit Australia. If you've never been there, it's a magnificent place. So it's like Melbourne. I could move and retire there. That's how beautiful of a city is. So please come and join us for the convention. Catch up with old friends. It's like being at the United Nations for a meeting, and I think we're all ready to be in person for the excitement of an international convention again. So yes, personally, Jen and I would personally invite you all to come and join us there.
Yes, and we'll make sure that we have a District 6400 gathering of some kind. So to set up this video, I want to share with you that I worked with our team at Rotary International, and I said, I don't want the typical kind of video. And I gave them permission to kind of think outside the box. And what they did was they found 4 spoken word poets in 4 different parts of the world who each wrote a poem. And then they cross-cut their thoughts into this video. And I don't think this is necessarily just a convention attraction video. I believe this is a pandemic reset button video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you'll join us all together in Melbourne, and I look forward to being able to hang out with all of you for the rest of this conference. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Let's take a look at the video. Mwah!
Imagine.
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 Imagine. Imagine.
Imagine.
Imagine. Imagine what's next.
Voyager, you hunger for change, freedom, passion in places far and wide, and perhaps answers you are looking for are somewhere much closer to home, in you.
Now that future has a new face in the second city, with a body made of steel and a river running through it. And how the night became a door, and the door became a dream, and the dream became our life. And that life found you.
Toast to tomorrow, for it is our last chance. Claim a dream of a home, of a future, of a family.
Hope is a chest, anticipating wonderment, possibility sparkling in exhaled breath. We've worked hard to feel it, accustomed now to the peaks and the rough, the tide on the quest, and the treasures found within it. Hope is that little promise to keep searching for the gold of fulfillment. Imagine what's next at the 2023 Rotary International Convention in Melbourne, Australia.